Hey there guys, I'm back to another video. Today I'm doing something a little different. Haven't done a haul video in a while because I have not been buying video games, but I've been buying a lot of comic books. So hey, you're tuning in. Thank you for listening and watching. Normally do video game content, but I have been buying maybe too many comic books this month, even though I told myself at the beginning of May, should not be spending money because the Switch 2 is about to come out and I need to save for that, which I do have money for, but there were a lot of good deals. May was also free comic book day, so there were other deals to be had and other things of the like that I saw and I was like, I need that. So yeah, definitely going into the rest of this year, especially next month, now that the Switch 2 is releasing, definitely need to cut back on the spending. But anyways, so comic books, I have been getting into the medium once again because of Daredevil Born Again. So I was reading a bunch of Daredevil comics then, and then I recently downloaded the DC Infinite app, which is their digital service. Marvel has Marvel Unlimited, but I was like, let me go and switch it up, subscribe to DC. Their app is a lot better. They have a lot of stuff on there, including new stuff, and you could subscribe to the Ultra tier, get new books like that pretty much like instantly, like almost like one-to-one when they come out. I know there's a slight delay between certain series of books. Anyways, so I've been getting into a lot of different characters that you will see in here, and also just getting into reading comic books in general, because comic books are fun and they are pretty cool. And if you are not reading comic books, definitely recommend you give it a shot. Even if you know nothing about comic books, there's like no reason why you shouldn't just pick up a random issue and just begin from there. Because honestly, most of the sort of continuity stuff and the confusion that goes into a lot of books is just like whatever. I think if you just do a little bit of research, like, hey, where's a good start for Daredevil or Nightwing, which you'll see later, you know, it's just like, all right, yeah, you could start with Tom Taylor. With Daredevil, you could start with Chip Zdarsky, Bendis, etc. So anyways, enough of me rambling. Let me show you how I spent $375 on comic books this month. So first, I'll start with single issues. I will start with Marvel, then DC, then everything else. So during Free Comic Book Day, there was a sale going on at Fourth World Comics, which is where I got my 3 comic books from, which I guess I'll show you right now. Go a little bit out of order that I was going to do this in, but hey. So these are 2 of the books that I got. You could get 3. So I got Amazing Spider-Man, Ultimate Universe, and also the Fantastic Four Free Comic Book Day. The third one I got is a Star Wars book. I got that from my girlfriend and I already gave those to her, along with several other books that we got at another local comic book store on Long Island. So yeah, these are 2 out of the 3 that I got. And then I got a bunch of single issues of back issues of Daredevil because I love Daredevil. Daredevil is one of my favorite superheroes of all time, probably right behind Spider-Man, number 2, I would say. So number 1, Spider-Man, number 2, Daredevil. And yeah, so they had a couple of back issues that I saw here. So we're just going to flip through them. So this is the first issue for Trial of the Century, which was recently adapted in Daredevil Born Again with White Tiger. So I had to get that. This one is just a cool cover from the Ed Brubaker run. This one features Mr. Fear. Lady Bullseye, another very cool villain that they introduced at the end of Brubaker's run. This is, I believe, the first issue of the Daredevil Charles Soule, where they start introducing Muse. So this is the issue right before his first official appearance, so issue 10. And then this one's just a cool cover, issue 602, when they went back to like the legacy numbering or whatever. It's got a silhouette of Daredevil and then his sidekick Blind Spot, which I thought was a pretty cool addition. And then we got this one. I had no idea that this was even a thing. This is a Daredevil variant cover drawn by Kevin Eastman. Kevin Eastman is one of the original creators behind Ninja Turtles. So I was like, oh yeah, like this looks very familiar in terms of like the art style. Looked it up real quick. I was like, yeah, this is a variant cover. This is from Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil. So I saw that and I was like, hey, that's a pretty cool cover. Let me just get that. And then the last one we got here is the final issue of Chip Zdarsky's first run on Daredevil, which includes Elektra as Daredevil as well. So yeah, all of these I got. You probably saw the prices on there. Got them all for, I believe, 20% off because that was the sale that they had for Free Comic Book Day. So we got that stuff. And then today I actually just bought this. So I was at another local comic book store because I was trying to find Batman Superman World's Finest 39. So I'm missing that. You won't see that in the haul later because my local comic book store is unfortunately closing. So I was hopping around between the various stores trying to find that because I didn't buy it when I was looking for a different comic later, because I was like, maybe he'll get it, maybe he won't. Turns out he's not getting any more new books. So yeah, but I recently went literally today to Golden Memories Comics, I believe is what it's called, and they had this. This is the giant size Daredevil one-shot that is drawn by Dave Barden. This is the variant cover, the Deadly Foes variant. As you can see, it has a bunch of various Daredevil villains. Honestly, I only know like probably like 1/3 of these villains. You know, obviously you got Kingpin, Foot Ninja, Lady Bullseye, Elektra, Frank Castle, Muse, I believe that's Typhoid Mary, and think that's Mysterio, Owlsley, Mr. Fear. Anyways, yeah, so this was a pretty cool cover that I've been looking out for on eBay for like a while now. So I was like, I saw it there, kind of just pulled the trigger on it because, you know, might as well get it at a local comic book store, and not eBay. So we got that. And then when my local comic book store was posting, you know, like, hey, here are the new books for the day or for the week or whatever, I saw this. This was Fantastic Four Fanfare. And when I saw that, I was like, I need to get that tomorrow after work. So I went by after work and I got this Fantastic Four Fanfare. Pretty much, if you guys don't know what this is like a anthology series, kind of. They are releasing multiple issues of this, but within a single issue, there's multiple stories by multiple creators, writers, artists, etc. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I have not read a single like Fantastic Four like run, so my investment into these stories and my background of them is not a ton. So I definitely need to read something related to the Fantastic Four. I know a couple of good writers like Hickman and all that other stuff, but yeah, this was a fun little thing to, you know, dip my toe into some Fantastic Four stories. I definitely should read, like I said, something that was like an ongoing long series. Probably not going to pick up more issues of this, but this was a nice, cool sort of thing that they're doing. And also the cover is just pretty cool. Last thing within the Marvel pool that doesn't include trades and all of that other stuff is obviously Ultimate Spider-Man. If you are a Spider-Man fan, or if you know someone that is a Spider-Man fan, please get them to read Ultimate Spider-Man. It is so freaking good. If they have a good knowledge of who Spider-Man is and his mythos of characters, Ultimate Spider-Man does such an amazing job of twisting that around, giving us a older Peter Parker who is married with kids, all of this other stuff. It is just so freaking good. Issue 16 focuses on Mysterio, as you can see, and yeah, it is great, fantastic. And this one just came out today, issue 17. I actually read this in the car. Pretty good issue as well, but you know, not as good as issue 16, if you will. So yeah, definitely excited to see where Ultimate Spider-Man goes. Definitely one of my favorite books that I am reading right now that is an ongoing. All right, now let's get into the DC side of things, which I have a lot. So just like with the Daredevil back issues, when I was there at Free Comic Book Day, I bought a bunch of Nightwing back issues by Tom Taylor. So let me just go and get into this one first. This one is the 2022 annual. This one I did not get at Fourth World Comics. I got this at Golden Memories from earlier that I mentioned. So yeah, this was one of their only like Nightwing back issues that they had. And I was like, this one's pretty cool. I think Heartless as a villain was pretty dope in the run. So having this cover drawn by Bruno Renato, hopefully I said that right. You know, pretty cool cover. It was not $7.50. I think all of their back issues are like 50% off. So, you know, this was like close to like $3-4, something like that. So pretty cool there. Now let's get into the back issues that I decided to buy for Tom Taylor. This one has the Flash on it. Really cool like double issue story that they did with that character. Batgirl is a consistent character, or Oracle, whatever you want to call Barbara Gordon. She's a consistent character within this Nightwing run, and she is great, fantastic. And this cover is also great and fantastic. Batman pops in for a little bit for like a little like 2 to 3 issue story. Really, really dope. Then these I actually just bought today. This one is a variant cover for issue 114. I believe this is the C cover, pretty much a sort of replicate of the first ever issue of Tom Taylor's run. I believe it was like 78 or something, but this one is of him being much older, much more of a veteran Nightwing with the beard and everything, and also the mountains, because that is sort of where he is at that moment within this story. Then we got issue 117, and then we got the final issue 118. I just bought today as well because I was like, I might as well get the final issue. And then this one I bought from my local comic book store, Lost Planet Comics. He had this one. This was a variant cover for 118 as well. I think this is the C cover. And yeah. Then we got the new run with, I believe it's Dan Waters. So it doesn't start at 125. So the reason why I'm starting at 125 and I'm kind of picking them up as they go is because the trade paperback is coming out soon. And I read the first issue on the DC Infinite app and I was like, this is pretty good. I've heard some people give some good praise on Dan Waters' writing on Nightwing. So I was like, okay, you know, I'll pick up that trade paperback when it comes out and then I will sort of catch up with the current issues that are going out and I will add it to my pull list because of it. Because I just love Nightwing as a character now. I mean, I really liked him just because he's blue and he looks cool and, you know, he's handsome. But yeah, you know, just seeing that run with Tom Taylor be so good and so sort of successful, if you will, you know, just I had so much fun reading that on the DC app that I was just like, all right, let me go and see what Dan Waters is doing because I heard some pretty good stuff about it. Haven't read these yet. Obviously, I just bought these today. So when I get that trade paperback, I will definitely catch up and be in the know, if you will, on what is going on with Nightwing. So yeah, there is that. Got some other DC books here. First up, if you have not read this or picked it up, the Summer of Superman special. This is a one-shot featuring a collective of various writers. You got Mark Waid, Dan Slott, and a couple of other artists on there, George Jimenez notably. So yeah, I mean, if you don't know anything about comics, I think one-shots are like a pretty decent place to start because it's a self-contained story. And this one is pretty damn good. I really like the way that we go through Superman's sort of past, future, and present kind of thing. And it's just a lot of fun. I think if you have not read this yet, it is on the DC app for free. So if you have DC Infinite and you subscribed or did that free trial or whatever, you could read this for free. And yeah, that's how I read it. And I did not buy it physically until I saw it at Fourth World Comics the same day I got all of those Nightwing and Daredevil issues. All right, so now this is a pretty big eBay haul that I did because the other thing that I've been reading on the DC app because I heard it was so good is Batman Superman World's Finest. So yeah, this is pretty much a Batman Superman, obviously team up comic, but it's reminiscent of like the Silver Age, Golden Age era of storytelling where like the stories don't have like a overarching thing. If anything, the stories are like 3 to 4 issues long kind of thing, like, and sometimes there will even be one-shot stories. So for example, let me find it. This one is like a sort of mystery issue of trying to find Batman and Superman featuring Batgirl, Jimmy Olsen, and the Super Pets. It's very cute. It's a lot of fun. This is a very like not super serious comic book, but there's still some really great writing, really good storytelling. And I read pretty much all the way through 1 to 32, including the annuals on the DC Infinite app, and I was like, I want to catch up and actually, you know, add it to my pull list and all of this other stuff. So I got number 33, I got 34, 35, which is the start of a Aquaman story, which I think is great about this is that there's always like, whether it's in the past or like the sort of present within this continuity, there's a issue where they show how Batman and Superman meet. That was very fun. There's a issue on how Batman and Superman met Wonder Woman, and there's a story about that. So now we got one with Aquaman, which lasted 3 issues, I believe. This is the second, and then the third, issue 37. Not that bad of a storyline. And then we got the We Are Yesterday crossover event, which is currently going on. So we got 38, and obviously it is crossing over with Justice League Unlimited. Me personally, when it comes to, I guess like crossover events in general, I'm just not that big a fan of them because it's just annoying when you have to pick up another book within a different series that you're not necessarily reading. So you know, I told my my new LCS Fourth World Comics, I was like, hey, yeah, like just pull Justice League Unlimited until issue 9, I believe, because issue 9 is like the epilogue for everything within this crossover event. So got that from my little eBay haul. I believe it was 412 comics, I believe. I'll put it in earlier if I am not mistaken in terms of who I bought these from on eBay. Pretty good seller. Pretty much sent everything in the best condition, great packaging, all that other stuff. And then, obviously, there have been a couple of other things that have come out from Batman Superman World's Finest and also Justice League Unlimited for the We Are Yesterday arc. Like I said, I do not have issue 38, which is the part 4 of the We Are Yesterday arc, so I'm missing that, but I got Justice League Unlimited number 7 today. And then these two, this one I got at Golden Memories because the way they do their modern books is that if you buy 5, you get 2 free. So I got this, and I also got a Sonic comic that you'll see later. And then I got 5 books for my girlfriend, pretty much, because she likes Star Wars and she saw all of these like cool Star Wars covers. So I just bought 5 of those for her. Then I got this one and a Sonic comic kind of for free. Obviously, this one I paid for, then 2 others were free. And then this is the annual as well for Batman Superman World's Finest. It just said this is the variant cover that I got from my local LCS, but I wanted the main cover because if you guys don't know, the covers connect. Oh god, that is not the right issue. The covers connect, so I just wanted to get them so I could connect them and look at how beautiful the art is, kind of thing. Hopefully this doesn't look bad when I look it back in post. But yeah, that's everything from the DC side technically, because now we got the Sonic and DC crossover comics. So yeah, these books are great. I mean, if you are not reading DC X Sonic the Hedgehog or like Justice League X Sonic the Hedgehog, you're missing out. I'm not saying that as like a Sonic fan either. Like, this is just genuinely a very good book. I think Ian Flynn and the sort of Sonic crew that is handling this are doing such a good job of handling not just the Sonic characters, but also the characterization of the Justice League characters that I know of, right? You know, like I know Batman, I know Superman, I know the Flash a little bit because of the CW show, but everyone else I'm kind of like new to, but I think the way that they characterize them is just so freaking good. So yeah, if you're not reading this, check it out. It's only like a 5-issue miniseries, and I think they're doing a spectacular job so far. And issue 2's cliffhanger was like insane. So to get into issue 3, I was kind of excited to see where it went. So yeah, it pretty much has the main cast of the Sonic crew take over whichever respective hero sort of plays for a little bit, which is pretty cool. And the variant cover is super dope. I mean, this is a Sonic Adventure 2 sort of cover inspiration thing, and I got 2 copies of them because I just loved this cover so much. I was like, I need 2 copies of it. So yeah, you know, just seeing Sonic and Shadow and Batman and the Flash sort of crossover with the colors and everything, it just looks so freaking good. So yeah, very, very excited to see where this series goes. And then we got some more Sonic stuff because the Sonic the Hedgehog ongoing series is actually pretty damn good. So we got all 3 covers of issue 78. So this is the other comic that I got at Golden Memories for their buy 5 get 2 free sale. So there's that. And then these other 2 I got at my local LCS, or former local LCS, or former local comic book shop, not local LCS, if that makes sense. Anyways, yeah, so he gave me issue 78 in cover B and RI, which is like the retail incentive when you order like enough copies. So yeah, I got that, and I was like, this is not cover A. I was kind of confused, so that's why I went out of my way and got cover A at the other shop. So yeah, I don't normally get all 3 covers, honestly. I'm totally fine with just cover A and cover B because the RIs are a little expensive on like the sort of retail or the resale side of things. So I was like, all right, you know, pretty cool. I always love the artist that does these. I forget her name. But yeah, these covers are always super duper dope. So that's all of the single issues, which is kind of crazy. And we still got a little bit to go. We got some trade paperbacks and hardcovers and whatnot. So I guess the first thing that I will show off here, if you have this store called Ollie's in your area, they got a bunch of these. These are the Scott Pilgrim 20th anniversary hardcover editions. I got mine in black and white, as you can see. It is 50 bucks. Apparently retail, this was $2.50, which is insane. So I did not buy this when it came out, obviously, because I'm pretty sure you could see right here. I got the Scott Pilgrim in color, and I also have the original trade paperbacks in black and white. So if I was going to buy this, it was going to be the black and white editions just for the extra features, and also have the black and white books in hardcover. So yeah, if you have not read Scott Pilgrim, this is such a great series. There's so many ways to buy it now in different formats, and pretty much all of them are decently affordable. I think this one has to be like the most expensive still if you look on like Amazon and whatnot, because it is not 50 bucks if you look on Amazon. But yeah, definitely want to pop this bad boy open and maybe read it one day. I mean, as you can see, I have the color editions, which I have not read yet. And I know the color edition writes a little bit differently in terms of like the jokes and gags that they do, because it's like, this is in black and white or whatever, you know, kind of thing. But yeah, Scott Pilgrim, such a great graphic novel, and I've not read it since I was a kid. And I hear that when you read it when you are an adult like me, I'm like freaking 26, it is gonna hit different. So yeah. All right, so now let's get into this big ass stack of trade paperbacks. Actually, I'm missing one single issue I forgot to mention, which is the Ninja Turtles Last Run-In Re-Evolution 2, whatever the hell it's called, issue number 5. I have not been reading this sort of like month to month or whatever the release schedule is. So now that all 5 issues are out, I will definitely read it, give my thoughts on it, maybe in a TikTok or whatever, just because I don't think that's really like main channel stuff. But yeah, I think The Last Ronin is a very, very good story, and I don't think it needed a sequel, but they set it up for a sequel, and I guess Kevin Eastman had another story that he wanted to tell. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to read this, give my thoughts on it at some point, maybe, possibly, I don't know. But yeah, I love Ninja Turtles, and I want to see where that story goes. All right, now actually back to schedule. So all of these that you are gonna see are 40% off their cover price, because like I said, my former local comic book store, Lost Planet Comics, they have been having this sale going on for a while now, and I guess he's just trying to get rid of old stock. So I did a bunch of different sales throughout the month, and yeah, so let's talk about it. So first we got up, this is not a comic book, this is a manga. This is Chainsaw Man Volume 12. I believe this is where the sort of second part of Chainsaw Man begins. I am very behind on anime, manga in general. I don't know what's going on in like anything, but I definitely want to read Chainsaw Man more, because Chainsaw Man is very good. If you have not read it, I definitely recommend you do so, especially if you like the anime. But yeah, I definitely have to catch up on this, see what the hell's going on within Chainsaw Man and just anime in general. Next trade paperback we got here is God of War Fallen God. This is the second volume of the Dark Horse God of War sort of saga thing. I think the first one is like a pseudo sequel to the 2018 game. And I think this one goes back to the original Kratos within sort of Greek mythology and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I always like video game adaptation books because I'm a gamer, if you will, and reading comic books about video games is always hit or miss at times, because usually they don't know what kind of story they want to tell. It's either something that is on its own, like the Sonic IDW stuff, or it's like a continuation of like the last game that just came out, which works and doesn't sometimes, just because, you know, if a sequel does come out, that's the head canon, and then whatever the comic book is, it's sort of like a what if alternate canon. Anyways, yeah, don't know much about this, but I definitely want to get the first volume at some point and read that, and then read this. I'm pretty sure they don't really connect that much, but anyways, just for my completionist collector brain, if you will. Now we got only one Marvel book. I think the rest are DC and other publishers. Marvel Civil War. Obviously, this is a very famous story. This is the story that sort of has Captain America and Iron Man go head to head. If you've seen the movie, it is not exactly like that. There's a lot of other stuff that happens within the book that is different from the film. Like, for example, Peter Parker reveals his identity and he sides with Iron Man at first, and then he switches back to Captain America because he's like, Captain America is actually right within this Civil War, if you will. But yeah, I don't know the grimy details of it, or sort of like the nitty gritty details of it. So I definitely want to read it, see what it's about, and all of that other stuff. Because like I said, crossover events and like big event comics are not my thing necessarily, because I think most of the time they're not that great. But I know that there's a couple of really good event comics, and if you know any, please let me know. I would love to read them. I just feel like most of them that I've heard of or read are just whatever kind of thing. Now we got some DC books. We got Batgirl Year One, because I like Batgirl so much within Nightwing. I saw this on the shelf and I was like, what is this about? It obviously takes a lot of inspiration from the Batman animated series in terms of its art style. Maybe it even takes place during this continuity of those characters. I have no idea. I've never watched the Batman animated series, which I know is very, very good. But, you know, just wanted to see what this story is about. I did like a quick Google search, if you will, and I heard that this was pretty good. Another thing that I saw that was on Google that I was looking up, really good Superman books, is Superman Red Sun. This is a alternate universe Superman where he landed in Russia, I believe, instead of the United States. So yeah, just the alternate version of Superman. This is written by Mark Miller, so I think that in and of itself should be interesting for people to read. And because it is a Elseworld story, you don't really need to read anything else. You can just read this self-contained, no big deal. So yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes, because Superman hype is obviously at an all-time high. I'm currently reading Superman Rebirth, written by Tomasi and Peter Glenson. Hopefully I said that name right, but yeah, that is pretty good, and I want to read more Superman books. Last book that is technically DC, which is the Batman Cross Ninja Turtles #2. So I didn't know that there are actually 3 crossovers for this sort of Batman Ninja Turtles thing. I have the first, I guess, book as a film on Blu-ray, but I don't actually have the first one. But because they made a third one, and the third one as a sold trade paperback is so expensive, I'm just like, I might as well just get, I think there's like a deluxe version of it that comes with everything. So I don't really need this. But I bought it because I was like, oh, there's only 2. I could just buy the first one, but I didn't know that there was a third one. Anyways, yeah, I mean, Batman, Ninja Turtles, those 2 things I love, especially Ninja Turtles, like I said earlier. And I hear that these crossover events with Batman and Ninja Turtles are pretty damn good. So definitely want to check that out. Another Ninja Turtles crossover that is pretty good is the Power Rangers one. So I got both of them because I'm like, I should probably reread the first one, because I bought this first one as single issues as it was coming out, and it was pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. I love the way that they do sort of like the Ninja Turtles and obviously the Power Ranger stuff, and not have it tied to like the show, like actually like tie it back to the comics. So yeah, I definitely want to read this again just to give myself a nice refresher. And obviously I also want to read the Power Rangers comics because I heard that those were very, very good. And then I will get to the sequel, which there's now a third one coming out, which I am kind of excited for, because I'm probably going to read that as it's coming out, just like I did with the first one all of those years ago when it was releasing in single issue. So yeah, excited to read these, and maybe possibly sometime next year I will get into the Power Rangers comics, because now it's all ended. I think that they're doing a new series now, but I'll worry about that when I get to it. All right, last book here. Thank you for sticking around and watching me talk about comic books. I really appreciate it. Last book we got here is another Ninja Turtles book. This is Ninja Turtles Urban Legends. I will point you in the direction of the Wolf Den video where Will Wolf talks about the Ninja Turtles Urban Legends and sort of that release of this series, because he does a better job of explaining it than me, and that's how I found out about this. But in case you don't know, this is the third and last, or maybe the last, I was just saying last because it says at last the Image Comics Ninja Turtles run, aka TMNT Volume 3, is now reproduced first time ever in full 4-color glory. So yeah, this is a very weird run on the Ninja Turtles. It's, you know, got a lot of weird stuff going on here just by the front cover, as you can tell. So yeah, I wanted to buy these because my best friend gave me the second volume as like a Christmas gift years and years ago, and I was like, I need to get the first one so I can like actually have it like complete. So now I can actually read the full volume of this version of the Turtles. I heard it's not that great because they do a lot of weird stuff, and because of the weird stuff, it's not that good. But, you know, that's why comics are cool. Comics are weird sometimes. So I just want to see what this version of the Turtles has in store. But yeah, that is everything that I bought this month for comic books, and I will probably spend way less next month because I spent, like I said, $375 on comic books. But like I said, all of the trade paperbacks that you just saw, 40% off, single issues, some on sale, you know, like 20% off, 10% off kind of thing. But yeah, that's it for me rambling. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more videos like this, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Put new videos up on Saturdays. You can follow me on social media at TV Sonic Gaming. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everything. And you can check out my podcast called the Travis and Damien Podcast, for all games, movies, and anime every other week. And I also talk about comic books there, whenever I can. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video once again. And I'll see you guys next time with more videos.